We're going to break down Bryson DeChambeau. A couple things I want you to notice right at setup. First of all, he's got that front leg. It looks like it's actually pretty straight. All right, and he's got this back leg a little bit bent. And you can see his right heel, that back heel, is actually a little bit off the ground, and that's because with his long drive stuff he's been doing, he's shifting his weight. He's putting his weight all on the front leg, and then as he takes his backswing, he's going to shift it back onto his back leg. That way he can shift his weight. You've seen some of those long drive guys kind of do that pre-shot routine where they're shifting their weight onto the front and then shifting their weight on the back. So instead of Bryson doing this teeter-totter thing that Kyle Berkshire's doing, he's just starting with his weight on the front foot. And that's just to try and get as much distance as possible. Next thing I want you to notice with Bryson, he's, especially with him hitting it longer now, he tees the ball up really high, and you can see he hovers the club above the ground. He doesn't set it on the ground. He hovers it right where he wants to impact the golf ball. And then as you can see, his feet are just a little bit left, so he's probably wanting to play a little bit of a cut here. So let's get into the backswing here. As he starts to bring it back, he keeps both of his arms extremely straight throughout the entire swing. He's trying to get as much length as he can during the backswing. You can see as he starts to bring it back, the first thing that happens is that right heel gets on the ground. That left leg starts to bend almost immediately. He gets into the backswing. I mean, look, when he's parallel, that front leg is already bent pretty significantly there. Continuing on, he just continues to bend that front leg. Left arm is absolutely just completely straight. A lot of guys here will start to bend that club back. You can see he's trying to get as much distance and as much length in the swing as possible. So he has zero wrist hinge at this point. Continuing back, huge shoulder turn. I mean, absolute monster shoulder turn. That front foot is almost just on his very tippy toes at this point. His back is definitely to the target. You can see he goes well past parallel. He is well over the line in the backswing. You can see the club here is more on this angle. Again, as he gets to the very back part of his backswing, he can probably see this club head out of his peripheral vision in his left eye. That's how across the line he is and how much past parallel he is, trying to get as much distance as possible. Now, as he starts to downswing, one of his first moves, you can see, let's put a line right there, and then his legs are going to squat, basically. He's going to do a squat as he starts down. You can see his head start to drop pretty significantly, a couple inches there, and then he's shifting that weight back onto that front leg. That front foot starts to drop. Then he starts to push off almost immediately off that back foot. He's coming in below the plane, which he's trying to hit most likely a draw actually here. He was aimed left, but coming in under the line here, he's trying to hit a draw. Pushing off. Right arm is still really bent here. Let me get rid of these lines at impact. And then as he gets through impact, he straightens that out, turns those hands over, keeps that head behind the golf ball, and actually has a fairly balanced swing as he finishes. One thing I do want you to notice is that front foot, as he comes through, actually will just pivot and almost comes off the ground a little bit. And you can see his toe at this point, right after contact, is pointed over here. And then watch where it gets to on his finish. He's actually pointed up here. So he pivots quite a bit on that left leg, and he has to. As hard as he swings, he absolutely has to, or he's going to tear something. Now from this other angle here, beautiful golf course. Same tournament, maybe the same hole. He's got the launch monitor out, but you can see at setup, ball is teed up very high. Club head is off the ground, hovering off the ground there. Ball position, he's got a little back maybe. Again, it looks like he's aimed just a little bit left of target here, but that just may be his normal setup. He tends to have a lot of shoulder angle here. This front arm stays extremely straight. His head is already behind the golf ball. So let's draw some lines here on his legs to see how much shift and how much sway he has. I don't think he has any. I think from doing a prior one, he has a slight shift, but then it's like he shifts back and then he pivots right around that back leg. So as he brings it back, very low to the ground, very long backswing, again trying to get as much length as possible. See, this front leg just absolutely bends. He's on his absolute tippy toes on that front left foot. Better angle here, you can see that left arm is very straight and he's lagging that club back quite a bit, not giving a lot of wrist hinge on that right hand. Huge shoulder turn. I mean, he's pointed way back behind the golf ball. Back is to the target, actually probably right of target. He's got that much shoulder turn. And then it's at this point that he's already starting his downswing. Let's take a look. This is the club is here, but if you'll watch his foot down here, that's the start of his downswing, is when this starts to go down. So the club is still on its way back, and he's already started to put that front foot down. And if you'll watch, this front foot is almost on the ground at this point. Look how much lower he is, and he's already starting his downswing. So once that foot gets on the ground, his club is actually parallel to the ground. As he gets to this spot, his head is about right here. The club is still going back, and he's already starting his squat. You can see he drops his head just a little bit, and the club is still going back, and he's already dropped his head and started his downswing and started his squat at this point. He's already dropped a couple inches here. And then he starts to actually bring the club back towards the ball. Now, as it brings the club back, he's got a ton of lag. You can see his left forearm there is pretty much parallel to the ground, and he's got the club way back here, just creating a ton of lag. He wants that club to whip right as it hits that golf ball. And then continuing down, he actually doesn't shift towards the target too much. He does break through that front line, but he doesn't shift towards the target too much. And then as he comes into impact, he's turning this left hand towards the target. All right, he wants the back of that hand right at impact here to be pointing towards the target. That way he knows he's squaring up the club face. And then as he makes contact, head is behind the golf ball pretty considerably. And then he comes through, and he's, again, pushing up off of this front leg and back leg, standing up as he comes through impact. And again, you see that front foot do its crazy little pivot thing here. As he makes contact, let's put right there. As he makes contact here, his foot is pointed this way. Once he finishes his follow through, he's pointed over here. So that's pretty crazy. Again, he has to do that or else he's going to tear something. Swings incredibly hard. Very different golf swing because of the very stiff nature of it and very stiff appearance of it. But he does hit it a long, long way, and he can still play golf at a high, high level.